Programming the 460 TC. That would be the time clock version, not to be confused with the 460i, which is a metered version of the timer that looks quite similar. First thing you're going to need to do, of course, is plug in your 12 volt supply from your transformer, and you're going to want to push this little tab, get this little clear door out of the way. Jumper should be set at the top position, which is time, and in order to change the time you press this button. If there's no little light, that's the AM, and now that that little light is turned on, we're in the PM position. Let's stop at 6 p.m. Next step would be to pull the jumper out, which you can easily do because it has a nice big tab on the end, and then carefully find the next two set of pins, and gotta make sure I get it on both pins. It's the only tricky part. Sometimes you get it on one pin but not both of them. Finally. Okay, now we're on days. The default from the factory is 3 days, meaning every third day the system would regenerate. If you want to take it up to 6 days, just hold the button. 7, that would be once a week. System actually goes up to 30 days. I wouldn't generally go past 7 days, but if you need to know what days would work for your system, 2 days. I went right past the number 1. In order to get to 1 every night or 2 every other night, you will have to go all the way up past the 30. And then if you say, oh, you know what, that 3 was the right setting for me. What I was going to say is you can go ahead and email us at softenerparts.com. That would be support@softenerparts.com with your system size, hardness, iron, and the number of people using the water, and we can give you a good estimate of how often you should regenerate. Now, of course, if you were replacing your previous mechanical timer that had 6 or 7 pins over here, whatever frequency of regeneration you were using before, every 2, 3, 6 day would probably work for this also. Now there's one more setting. If you pull the jumper out and go down, says 0. This is the clock setting. Basically 0 means you're going to have AM, PM time. If you change it to 1, now you're at 24-hour time, and so 6 o'clock became 1800 hours. Oops, that's the days of regeneration, and I prefer AM, PM. So I'm just going to change this back to 0. Alright, now when you're done, you want to make sure you get it back on the time, and make sure you got it on both pins there. That's looking good. And put your door back on. Now if you want to manually start a regeneration, you can push this button in. It says in release, and you should hear the motor start humming in the back. There's a drive motor in the back of this system. The drive motor is not going to be running except when it's actually in a regeneration. The electronics is going to keep the time. It's pre-programmed to start at 2 a.m. So in 8 hours it would go, because we got it at 6 p.m. Now if you need it to go a little sooner, just keep your clock a little fast. Like if you want to go at midnight, just set your clock 2 hours fast. And if you want it to go later than 2 a.m., set your clock an hour or 2 slow. Realizing the entire cycle is going to take a little under 2 hours, but it'll do a backwash, a little pause, a long brine and rinse, about 50 minutes. There's a fast rinse and refill cycle, And this is all controlled by the camshaft on the back, opening and closing the appropriate flapper valves. Now there is an annoying extra light that may come on. If you find that, you can just disconnect the power and reconnect it. And that doesn't work. Do it one more time until it disappears.